I didn't argue when she said it. That was the strange part. "Don't come to the party tonight," she said, not even looking up from her phone. "He doesn't like you around." She meant her best friend, the one she always insisted was harmless, the one who had slowly, deliberately carved out space in my own life until there was barely room left for me. I nodded once and said, "Okay." No questions, no fight, no wounded pride. She left a few minutes later, perfume trailing behind her, already dressed for someone else's approval. I waited until the door clicked shut. Then I moved with the calm certainty of someone who had already decided. I packed my clothes, my documents, my laptop. I opened her jewelry box, lifted the ring I'd saved for, and placed it in my pocket. I didn't leave a note. I didn't block her number. I simply disappeared. When she came home hours later to an empty apartment, that's when the panic started. But by then, the ending had already happened. She just hadn't realized it yet. My name is Nate. I'm 26. I work in logistics, which is a polite way of saying I solve problems no one wants to deal with and make sure the world keeps moving without noticing me. I didn't go to college. I started at the bottom of a regional shipping company answering phones and learned everything by staying late, asking questions, and fixing things before they broke. 4 years later, I was coordinating operations across multiple states. Last year alone, I caught a routing error that would have sent a fleet of trucks into a closed mountain pass. That single fix saved the company over $200,000. I got a bonus, a handshake, and a quiet expectation to keep doing what I do best, handle pressure without making noise. I met Malene 2 years earlier at a birthday party I hadn't even wanted to attend. She was magnetic in that effortless way, the kind of person who could walk into a room and make it feel brighter just by existing. She asked me a question about the game on TV, and somehow we talked for hours. She was ambitious, social, always chasing the next thing. I was steady, grounded, comfortable building instead of performing. It felt balanced. I proposed after 18 months. When she suggested I move into her apartment to cut my commute and save money before the wedding, it seemed practical. We split rent unevenly, 700 from me, 5 from her, and I covered utilities, groceries, and most dates because my income was consistent and hers wasn't. That's what you do when you're building a future together. You invest. What I didn't plan for was Preston. According to her, he was like a brother. According to reality, he was a grown man living off inherited money, calling himself a creative strategist while contributing nothing but opinions. He dressed well, drove an old luxury car, and carried himself like work was something other people did, so he wouldn't have to. From the start, he looked at me like I was background furniture. Not hostile, worse, dismissive. He talked about her past, her exes, trips they'd taken before me, inside jokes I wasn't part of. It was subtle enough that calling it out would have made me look insecure, which I refused to be. So I watched. I listened. I noted patterns. The first time it really landed was after a brutal 10-hour workday. I came home exhausted to find him sitting in my spot, eating ramen I'd ordered online, the expensive kind, laughing with her like I didn't exist. When I said something, she brushed it off. He needed comfort, she said. Not once did she ask how my day went. Not once did she notice I'd skipped lunch to save a shipment worth more than his car. That was the moment I realized respect had quietly left the room. Then came the jacket. My jacket, bought with my first real bonus. I came home to find him wearing it like it belonged to him. When I asked for it back, he made a show of returning it, sighing as if I were inconveniencing him. She told me I was overreacting. That word followed me everywhere after that. Territorial, sensitive, dramatic. Meanwhile, his things started appearing everywhere. Shoes by the door, camera gear on the counter, his charger plugged into my nightstand. He'd been in our bedroom. She said it meant he was comfortable. I realized comfort was being extended to everyone except me. The comment about the ring was what sealed it. We were sitting together while she showed him wedding plans on her phone. He zoomed in on the ring and tilted his head. "Nice," he said, "for what it is." He mentioned another man's ring, a bigger one, more expensive. She didn't defend mine, didn't defend me. I'd worked overtime for months to buy that ring. Suddenly, it felt like a placeholder. From there, the erosion accelerated. She spent more time with him, more energy on his imaginary projects, more enthusiasm for worlds I wasn't invited into. She started describing me as stable, reliable, boring, words people use when they benefit from you but don't value you. I kept paying, kept showing up, kept hoping. The breaking point came at a Halloween planning session that turned into a public joke at my expense. He mocked my job. She laughed. Something in me snapped. Not violently, but clearly, I laid it out. What I did, what he didn't. What I'd earned versus what he coasted on. For the first time, his smile cracked. He left. She turned on me instead of asking why it had gone that far. That night, she told me to find somewhere else to stay. I did. A friend's couch. 6 weeks of quiet recalibration. No chasing, no pleading, just space to think. On day 18, I went back while she was out, packed my things, took the ring, and left a single note. Clear, final, clean. The night she told me not to come to the party because he didn't like me around, I finally understood something that had been building for months. I wasn't losing her. I was being replaced slowly and politely, like outdated furniture. And the moment I stopped trying to compete for space in my own life, everything became clear. I didn't leave in anger, I left in recognition. Some endings aren't loud, they're precise, and once you choose yourself, there's nothing left to explain.